Hello everyone, welcome to my overview impressions of the Alabaster Dawn demo. It is available on Steam right now with a full launch date to be determined. So let's get into the overview of Alabaster Dawn's demo. So, Alabaster Dawn is an action RPG building on top of the best aspects of Radical Fish Games' previous title, Crosscode, featuring a deep and engaging combat system, challenging puzzles, and an epic story set in a curious world full of secrets to discover and places to explore. So let's get into the story. Story-wise, it is set in the world of Traversal. The world is ravaged by a dark curse called the Nyx. A group of chosen who get their powers from gods were chosen to destroy Nyx. However, they fail when the gods go silent, silencing the chosen powers. We play as Juno, the outcast chosen, who was not dispatched to fight the Nyx originally. Juno is the only one left to fight back the Nyx and restore the land. So far, the story hasn't really hooked me. With that, it's a standard Chosen One storyline. I wonder if it will do anything different. Let's get into the combat, which is really the best part of this game here. So it is a fast-paced action combat. You'll be dodging projectiles and attacks from various types of enemies. You'll use different swords, hammers, crossbows, and chakrams, which are like boomerang things. Each weapon has a utility for different monsters. Some will have hard armor, which will require your hammer. Some will be far away, which will require your crossbow. The chakrams can be charged up, which will help with enemies that have elemental weakness. For example, electricity, which is what we got to do in the demo at the very end. There are two loadouts you can and will have to switch between on the fly at a push of a button. You will do this very often because there's various different types of enemies, as I've said just a second ago. Enemies also have stagger bars. Those stagger bars can be filled, which stagger the enemy, which leaves them vulnerable for you to attack. You can also parry attacks, which fills enemy stagger bars. You don't have to parry. Every game has a parry, I know, but parrying is actually quite rewarding here in this game and can be quite difficult with all the stuff on the screen. With the combat, we might as well get into bosses. There are two official bosses in this demo and one mini boss, but this mini boss that I'll mention here in a second, I think that should be an actual boss because it was a really tough fight and felt exactly like a boss. The first boss is something called the Inferna Vespa. This is a variation of the WAS enemy you've been fighting up to this point. This fight was indeed a challenge. Not only does this boss have a lot of abilities and different variations of these abilities, you may not have a lot of health going into this fight. That was at least my experience. There are rest points in this game, and it would have been nice to have one before this boss fight. Up to this point, there was only one rest point, which was like a tutorial about rest points. I would like that rest point to be moved to here right before this boss room. That would help. Considering this is the very first boss, it would help to just have that rest point right there and, you know, give the player just a little bit easier of a time. I essentially had to no-hit run this boss to beat it. It did teach me a lot about dodging, though. This boss does teach you a lot about dodging. Crossbow is your best friend here because it's a flying enemy. The next boss, which is when you jump ahead a little bit in the demo, is called the Challenger. This boss was fine. What I liked was, like the previous boss, there was a lot of different moves. He even has a regeneration ability. I would like to be rewarded for rushing the boss during this regen ability because it seems like I was not able to counter it. That's just my little nitpick. The boss changes its shield. It goes from like a light shield to a rock shield. That makes me change my weapons, which again, the loadout, that's very important. I also found this one lunge attack could be parried, which fills his stagger bar, so again, you are rewarded for parrying, but you don't have to. At the end of the demo, there was this turtle enemy. It was like a turtle mini boss. This is the enemy I think should be an actual boss because, my goodness, this was a tough enemy. Just like the fight previously with the Inferno Vespa, I had no health going in. I mean, I had to do a bunch of fights before, and even a bunch of fights in the same room before this mini boss spawns. So chances are you're gonna have low health here. So my feedback is the developers have to choose if it's always intended for the player to have low health before hard encounters, or if they want to get more health potions or rest spots for the players. Perhaps they're encouraging mastery of fighting all the little enemies before a boss room, but if that's the case, they need to put checkpoints in different places. So I have the option to fight all the smaller encounters with full health, so I can try to not be hit by the smaller enemies and save my health potions, knowing there will be a hard encounter in the near future. Because the checkpoint before this mini boss was right before the boss room, and I had low stock of health potions. And as I mentioned, I had to do 2 waves of fighting before this boss even spawns. So there has to be a choice. Is that intended, or do you want to change some stuff up a little bit? So back to the boss, back to this mini boss. This is actually a really good boss as well. A lot of different moves, even 2 different phases. Something I mentioned, the bosses seem to have different phases. Maybe 1 or 2, but they do change up their moves. They do little cinematic things that have makes it seem like there's different phases. Pairing these mini turtles projectiles is really rewarding. Also pairing his spin move is really rewarding because it makes it significantly easier to hit him. You can hit him without doing it, but man, it would take a lot longer. Just a quick side note, also on the bosses, a little pick, actually I think this is pretty big, is the camera. So when I was fighting the Infernal Vespa, sometimes the camera would zoom in, like, you know, when he was casting a spell and it was supposed to be cinematic. Though I can't see my character when he's doing that, and I have to dodge things rather quickly. So I would like the camera to not shake and zoom in, because it was shaking, it was zooming in and zooming out. It was just, I don't like that. I need the camera to be able to just fix it. Just fix the camera so I can always see my character, so I'm ready to move and dodge, or even take a health potion or a buff or something before he does finish casting the spell, or before he does land his attack. So a little criticism there. In terms of progression in this game, standard RPG stuff, you fight monsters, you gain XP, you level up. You have a character skill tree that allows for you to choose things like increase health, more strength, etc. Like an RPG. You just get skill points for that for just doing things like quests and killing monsters. Every weapon also has their own skill tree. You do have to use those weapons though to upgrade them. So the different skills are like different combos, different ways to use the weapon, firing differently, etc. There are runes that you can also equip to your weapons that give them different boosts, like more damage, critical chance, etc. Also gems that give your character stat boosts as well overall. Alongside all that are divine powers, which are ultimate abilities that you have to charge up. Even more so, there is a whole cooking system that you can use to give your character temporary buffs. So I see this being super deep. It could stay surface level like I had in the demo, or this could get crazy. This could get crazy with the buffs, with the gems, with the runes, with the different things in the skill tree. So I can't wait to actually experience that fully. As you're traversing the world, you will experience some puzzles as well. There was a lot of puzzles in this demo, especially at the end. The puzzles include things like shooting gems or orbs to reveal platforms that you can climb onto, or move to climb onto, or jump onto something else. You can use your chakrams to throw at different points that will ricochet onto other points. The chakrams can also charge up to unlock things that require electricity. So alongside those puzzles, we might as well talk a little bit about the exploration and the just traversal in general. A lot of things can be climbed in this game, like a lot. You might as well just try to run around and see what you can climb. There are a lot of gaps to jump over. This has the potential for you to be able to discover a lot of secrets. I can't wait to see what they hide in this world. You can also fall off the map, like into the water, and you get minus health for that, so look out for that. in conclusion, I'm expecting to play this on full release. I'm actually really enjoyed the demo. The combat was the most surprising part for me. It was challenging, it was rewarding. The progression system seems it could be in-depth enough for me to be hooked on this as an RPG fan. Radical Fish Games is promising 30 to 60 hours here. I wonder what the end game is going to be like I mentioned previously. What can I do with my character? I wonder if I'll be able to unlock all the skill tree abilities, or if I have to choose what to unlock, like if choices have to be made there. Lastly, where will the story go? So far, it is a standard Chosen One storyline. What will they do differently, if anything? Do they have to do anything different with the story, or is the combat and progression engaging enough for me to not really care so much about the story, just have enough? Will there be companions as well? And will the companions actually do anything for me in terms of combat or abilities? Thanks for watching, if you made it this far. Let me know if you'll be picking up this game when it releases. Be sure to consider subscribing if you want more indie RPG spotlighted in the future. I plan on doing that. Thank you, and talk to you later.